Good morning and welcome to Plant Based Cooking with AARP Alabama. I'm your host for today, Tawana Wright, and today's episode is with Chef Kimberly McNair Brock. Folks, we want to remind you that AARP empowers people to choose how they live as they age. AARP is a nonpartisan 501c4 organization that has over 420,000 members in Alabama. AARP's role is to advocate for those 50 plus and their families. Well, since the pandemic began, we discovered that we could broadcast from home and have everybody stay safe from COVID and reach people around the country with these remote broadcasts. And we appreciate you for tuning in. We've got Chef Brock this morning, and we're cooking something that seems to have attracted a large crowd. Chef Brock, how
Hi,
are you this
everyone.
morning?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. So, what do we have today?
So, we have creamy broccoli cheese soup and a pesto garlic toast.
Sounds great for these cold days that we're having. We're
Yes,
experiencing winter this year.
yeah. Winter does not want to turn loose.
Does not want to turn loose. Folks, uh, I know you didn't come here to see me, so I'm going to get out of the screen and let Chef Brock take over.
Hello, everyone. So, today I am prepping what needs to go in our garlic toast. So, we have a baguette here, or any kind of favorite bread that you like. You can use ciabatta, um, any kind of just yummy bread that would hold up to some delicious pesto. So I'm cutting it and slicing it open. All right. And I'm going to set this aside. I've got our oven already prepped and ready, but we'll put it in the oven a little bit on further down during the show. So I'm going to put a little bit of oil on here, and this is grapeseed oil, okay? And then a little bit of sea salt, garlic, granulated garlic, and black pepper. And really, that's a great little garlic bread right there, to be honest. And I'm going to set this over here on our sheet pan. And then, for all intents and purposes of our finishing touches, if you will, I've got a few florets here of the broccoli that I'm going to dress with a little bit of oil again and a little bit of salt. And we're going to toast this in the oven, and we're going to use this to go on top of our soup when it comes out of the oven. So you have already gotten your recipe for your pesto, and so that is the recipe that I'm going to be using for the pesto. So I'm not going to be doing it live on here because we've got a lot of components to the soup that we need to get into today. So clean up just a little bit. All right. Okay. So first things first, we're going to turn on our burner and start heating up a little bit of oil. Okay. And you probably won't be able to see down in here in the pot, but you have the instructions. So to this, we're going to add our items, our veggies first. So we're going to cut up our onion here. I'm just going to dice it up. Okay. And this will be good to go in and so we're going to get everything nice and soft. Okay. All right. Just put it in our bowl. We can use the same bowl we just used to toss the broccoli in. Okay. And add a little bit more. This is a small onion. So I might not add all of this in, but a decent amount of it. Okay. Then we're going to go with some celery. We're going to dice up our celery and dice up our carrots. And so you want them to be of like size. And the same here, about 2/3 of a cup of each of the veggies. And this soup will probably be good enough for about 4 people. I'm cutting the size here today in the studio because we don't have as many people as you may have at home. But even if you make it, double it, and you have more than you need, it'll be great for leftover. Just like just about anything we make, it's always good the next day. So after everything has a chance to, all the flavors have a chance to meld together. Okay, so we've got our celery, all right, and we're gonna go with our carrots. So we're doing a little behind the scenes stuff that I normally would have done today. So y'all bear with me. All right. So I'm going to just talk a little bit about the recipe. So if you have a favorite vegan cheese that you normally use, you can definitely substitute that for the nutritional yeast. Or if you'd rather just use the nutritional yeast, you can do that instead of using the cheese. So I have mozzarella cheese that I really like, and that's what I'm going to use today. So we've got our carrots peeled. All right. I'm going to just kind of cut them in half and quarter them. These are kind of smallish carrots, so we're not going to do too much of this in here, just enough to get the flavor and a few flecks of color. So, and the soup is a 2-step process if you've ever made it before. You puree some of the soup. So we're going to puree some of the soup as well. I think that's good enough. So now I'm going to start working on the broccoli. Okay. Turn this back on. All right, get that hot and going. And just start cutting our flowerets. Okay. I'm going to stop and put our bread in the oven. So it'll be ready. Get ready. When our soup gets ready, everything will kind of get ready together. Okay. All right. So it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. How many of you have made broccoli cheese soup before? Vegan or non-vegan? Anybody out there?
No responses yet to that one.
Okay. So I think we've got our oil kind of heated up nicely. I'm going to go ahead and add our veggies in. We're going to season this up in stages. So we're going to add some granulated garlic, salt and pepper. Things over a little bit. Okay. Get that sweating, get those vegetables sweating. Hope you guys can hear me okay over this sizzle of the veggies. All right. A little bit more broccoli.
Chef, believe it or not, we only have one person who's made broccoli soup.
Okay. Now, if you want to go a little quick route, if you're, a lot of times people come home from work and they're starving. So you could go with some frozen broccoli. That will cut your time probably in half. So, excuse me. Pepper is getting to me. Excuse me. I'm going to add in our broccoli. Get it going. I may add in a little bit more oil. Got to see how it goes. So that was about, well, your recipe says 4 tablespoons, so that was about 2 for me, but I may double it a little bit. So I think I've got enough broccoli in there. It wouldn't hurt for a little bit more. So, and I have taken the time to make a really good vegetable broth, and I'm sure you can probably check that out on one of our other lives that we did, just so that we can impart our own flavors to everything. Clean up a little bit. Right. I'm going to add some garlic here. So I've got, I love garlic, so I've got about 4 cloves here that we're going to put in. Okay. Now I'm going to add a little bit of oil. Okay. So all of this is just kind of going in kind of nicely. All right. Chop up our, finish chopping up our garlic here. Okay. All right. Add this to it. And it's turning beautifully bright green in here. And like I said, had this been frozen, it'll go a little quicker. I'll move this out to the side. Show you a little bit of it. So this is our broccoli and veggies just getting tender. Okay. So if you're doing a big batch of soup, and you've got a wider pot, that's good. It has better, surface area. Okay. Add a little bit more oil. Okay. All right. So to this, we're going to add our flour. We're just going to add a little bit of the flour to it. Just start forming a roux. And it's going to soak up the liquid and the oil. And this will help to thicken the soup. Okay. And once this gets, you cook it out, you cook the taste of the flour out a little bit, then you can start adding in your stock, your vegetable stock, your broth. Okay. So you want to cook it maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and you can sort of tell the difference in the smell as well of when the flour starts cooking out. Okay. So I've got a broth that I just made up this morning, so it still has some fresh herbs in it. So we're going to just add it in here little by little as we're scraping the pan. Okay. So soup is not it can be a fast or a slow process. I'll put it like that. So, it really just depends on which soup you're making. But taking your time with the soup really means that you're imparting a lot of love into it. People always ask, "Oh, what's your favorite thing to make?" And I would say soup. It's just something comforting about making soup for someone or just for yourself. And when you get done and you sit down to actually enjoy the soup, it's just the best comfort food to me. So I am continually doing that and getting our roux from the bottom, and as it's turning into a broth for the soup, it's even creamy before you add the other creamy components to it. Okay. And then we'll taste this in stages. I don't want to add a lot of seasoning until I get a lot of the things incorporated in here. So this is coming up really well. Do we have any questions?
None so far. I can tell you, though, that we have people joining us from all over the country. Alaska, Connecticut, Washington, Huntsville, Alabama. Hey, Huntsville.
Hey.
Maryland, Minnesota, California.
Oh, great. Well, hey, everybody. So I'm going to add in most of our stock, and I'm going to save a little bit just in case maybe it gets a little too thick. And plus, we're going to puree some of the soup. So just want to have a little bit on reserve for later. So we've got that going. And now we've got our oil, our broccoli, carrots, celery, onion, and garlic. And we just added our roux, our flour, our vegetable broth, and we're going to add vegan milk. So this is an oat milk that I'm going to add in, or any kind of creamy plant-based milk that you like. Like you could add cashew milk. A lot of people do that. You can do an almond milk. Just something that you enjoy already, you know. So I'm going to go ahead now and just kind of slowly stir in this oat milk. Stir it up a little bit. All right. And then I'll bring all this up to temp. Okay.
Chef, I know sometimes you make changes in your recipes, and somebody said one thing says add lemon juice and something else says use white vinegar.
Right. So I messed up on the recipe. You can do either. I meant to say if you wanted to do lemon juice or the vinegar. A lot of times when I see other recipes that, you know, just suggestions or watch different chefs do different things and they add vinegar, like for instance, our pickled red onions. Most people use vinegar. Well, we use lemon juice. So anywhere I can try to impart something natural, not that vinegar is anything wrong with vinegar, I try to go with a similar flavor profile to what vinegar would be, but it would just be a little different. So we've all had a little lemon juice on our broccoli, so that's why I decided to do that. But if you don't have lemon, you can use vinegar.
We have a question asked, is the milk at room temperature?
Slightly. That definitely helps. This milk that I'm using, I don't want to say a brand name, but it's a really clean oat milk. So you don't have a lot of the stabilizers and things that you do in a lot of the other ones. I'd say it's pretty close to homemade oat milk. So I did keep it refrigerated as long as I possibly could before coming here today. So I'm going to taste this a little bit just to see what we're working with. If I can get some on the spoon, the broth. It's good. Add a little bit more salt and pepper. Right. But I hope I answered your question about that vinegar lemon hiccup. Yeah, and the lemon will also add a little bit of acidity, as well as like maybe if you don't want to keep adding salt, lemon juice would be good for that. Okay. All right. So it's warming up nicely here. I'm going to check on our bread real quick, see how it's looking. I think we're good. We're getting a steam, good steam. Yeah, that's good. And our broccoli looks good too. So I'm going to just cut the oven off. So I have the oven on 425, which is fairly quick. You may not want to have it on that high at home, but just for the sake of the show, I wanted to get it done quickly. And you can even use the bread as a crouton, you know. So taste this a little bit more. That's good. It's yummy. I'm definitely going to need that lemon juice. Okay. So I'm going to blend up some of this now. And actually, I'm going to add a little bit of, add our cheese to it first. Add about half of that. Just add a little bit. Get it incorporated. And like I said, if you just want to add nutritional yeast, you can do that instead. I'm probably going to add all of this vegan cheese. And so the recipe calls for nutritional yeast, but if you or your favorite vegan cheese. So basically, the amount that I'm adding in here is like a half a cup. So you want to double the amount of cheese as you would the nutritional yeast. So you want to go the nutritional yeast, then just do a quarter cup. But then, of course, taste it, see if it's what you like, add more, add a little at a time, add less, whatever suits you the most. So we're going to blend this up. Just going to taste it. It's really good. And we've got our Vitamix here. This down a little bit. I'm going to add some of the soup to the Vitamix. All right. Ladle here. I'm going to just add in some of the soup. And puree it up really nicely. And then add it back to the pot. So that's why when you go to the restaurant and you have it, it tastes so full of broccoli. But it doesn't have that much broccoli in it. It's because they pureed a good bit of it first. That up. Okay. Put the lid on. It's going to be loud. Give you guys a little tidbit. Here we go. I'm going to just start on low and just make sure everything is crumbled up. And go up.
Chef, how do you determine how long you want to puree the soup?
So this is a Vitamix, and everything purees really smooth in 90 seconds. So that wasn't 90 seconds, but I could look at it and tell that it was just where it needed to be. So you still want to have a little fleck of broccoli or something in there. So, and I'm gonna taste this and see if the seasoning needs to be just. Oh, I'm gonna add our lemon juice first. I'm gonna add a little lemon juice, cut in there, and this is it's probably about a teaspoon of lemon juice. I may add all of that. Taste it first and see. My dirty dishes. And it's, I don't know where you are and how the weather is there, but it's a cloudy and rainy here, so this is a perfect day for the soup. It's nice and rich and creamy. And if you want a thicker soup, you can add more of your vegan cheese. You know, a lot of soups are added to a bread bowl. You can definitely add some bread to it, or put it in a bread bowl. Okay. So I'm going to plate this up, if you will. It's really delicious. I'm so excited. Can't wait to eat a bowl of this. Another ladle, and then we're going to add our broccoli croutons. And I'm going to just put a little side of the bread on there. Okay. And it's just nice to have the carrots in there as well for a little flecks of color. Okay. All right. Break the bread a little bit. And I'm going to cut this as well to put it on the bowl. Okay. Let's do a light croutons real quick. In honor of St. Patrick's Day. Okay, and there we have it. It's real simple and easy, guys. There we go. Our creamy broccoli cheese soup.
Well, it looks great. A couple of people are thinking it probably smells great too.
Yes, it's good. And, you know, if you like garlic or you like more garlic, add more garlic. You know, you just want it to be a really good, flavorful soup. So this is sort of a staple. And I think we're doing that over the next couple of times that we're doing here. But to just give you some vegan options to know you can still have this and not have dairy, but you can have plant-based dairy and it still tastes delicious.
Well, thanks, Chef. We appreciate you. Folks, we'll be back again in April. You can join us on April 21st, where we'll be cooking. What are we cooking, Chef?
We are doing a grilled romaine vegan Caesar salad with chicken that's going to be made out of what's the mushroom? I'm having drawn a blank.
Lion's mane?
Yes, the lion's mane mushroom. So
Okay.
will be the chicken part of it. So, yeah.
All right. Well, we hope we'll see you on April 21st. Folks, remember to fill out the survey for today's show. You'll get an email on that. And we'll see you next time on Plant-Based Cooking with AARP Alabama. Thank you.